trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. I can get it swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. I can get it swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. I can get it swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare.
All right, hello everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so with that all being said, let's see who's in here. All right, hello, Sheila, Babe Rex, Love Christy. All right, Trisha, Chili Willie from Philly, Claudette, Ashkan is here. All right, let's get into it. Everybody hit the like button. I see you, Millicent. All right. Baldwin is here. Okay, we the people. All right, Christopher Perkins, I see you, beloved. Shout out to all of my loyal Royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because you all know they put in work. I see you, Junior, Soul Sister. All right, just anticipate. Junior Thorpe. Now let's get into it. Before we get started, hey Lillian X, before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. I see you, Nessa G. All right, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, and don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Now, with that all being said, let's get into it because there is some things going on. Trump is out here. Let me just tell you all, Trump had the bright idea. I don't know who put him up to it, but he decided to try to take on a humanitarian effort. First of all, in order to do that, don't you have to be humane? Okay, don't you have to have a concern and care for other people? Okay, and genuinely want to help them? So anyway, Trump comes up with this idea, this plot, this scheme, if you will, to decide that he, in fact, is going to have these ships coming through the Strait of Hormuz guided, saying that the U.S. would guide them through in a project called, I think it was Operation Freedom. I think that's what he called it. And so this is what he claimed he was going to do, but it all went bad, and now he's scrambling, okay? It all went bad real quick. Because according to reports, here's what Iran said. Tensions in the Persian Gulf have reached a dangerous new flashpoint as Iranian leadership issued a direct threat to sink U.S. aircraft carriers, promising to turn the strategic waterway into a graveyard for American forces. Okay, please pay attention. Does this sound like they want him coming down there or sending anybody to try to escort anybody to anywhere? Mohsen Rezai, a senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader, labeled the United States a pirate nation, while the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, declared that President Donald Trump is now trapped between an impossible military operation and a humiliating bad deal. The escalation comes as Tehran sets a 1-month deadline to lift the U.S. naval blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, following the collapse of ceasefire negotiations in Islamabad. Now, despite sustaining significant damage from U.S. Israeli strikes earlier this year, Iran's latest rhetoric signals a strategic pivot toward total defiance, threatening global energy markets and the stability of the fragile regional ceasefire. Okay, did y'all hear? And then it has come to my attention that supposedly, now, of course, they said they're going to turn it to a graveyard. Honey, y'all better get out of there whilst you can. But here's the thing. Now, aside from all of that, they claim to have struck. This was reported by the Iranian news that they struck the U.S. And of course, the U.S. denies it as per usual. Okay, just like all the fires on the ships, they said it didn't get struck. It was always something else. Okay, so here's the report coming in. It says Iranian state media says missiles hit U.S. warship. Now, this is a report from MS Now, and then we're going to go to where Trump and his people are basically saying that's not true. They say U.S. denies Iranian claim that it hit an American warship in the Strait after Trump launches mission to guide passage. Trump, we know they already hit you. Stop lying already. I mean, so desperate to make it look like they're winning the war when everybody with eyes to see knows the truth. Okay, please. He's grasping at straws. That's why he even came up with this harebrained scheme of having them to guide ships through the strait anyway.
David Ignatius, we're talking about what war, peace, ceasefires, a way forward. Right now, Iranian state media is saying that it has struck two missiles hit a U.S. Navy vessel near Jask Island after it ignored warnings from the Revolutionary Guard to halt. Again, this is Iranian state media. They have, of course, been lying since 1979. That said, in this...
Did y'all hear that? He said they've been lying since 1979. I find that interesting. So how long has the U.S. been lying? Please sit down somewhere. We can find that when the reports come out, there's more truth with their media than the United States BS propaganda. But let's continue. We know who owns the U.S. media companies, no less.
This war, often what they've reported has ended up being confirmed by Western news sources. So if in fact that is the case, that U.S. Navy ships have been hit after ignoring warnings, obviously we've reached a new level of escalation, David.
So obviously we have to be careful with this first report, but
yep,
we're sure that that there is a very precarious situation in the Gulf now, in which the U.S. is announcing a desire to help facilitate transit through the Strait of Hormuz, but isn't declaring an actual escort mission. And this morning, we didn't talk much about it, but an Iranian commander said early this morning that U.S. ships would be fired upon if they challenged the Gulf, challenged the Iranian presence. So we may be seeing a follow-up. I'm thinking, as you are, as I'm sure all of our viewers are, what does President Trump do in response to this? When somebody shoots missiles at your ship, you then are almost obligated to take action. And so what was a precarious situation before now becomes even more so. I'm sure that the Pakistani mediators who've been active now for several weeks are on the phone right now. If this is a Revolutionary Guard vessel outside the normal Iranian chain of command, that's one thing. If it reflects the decision by the leadership in Tehran, that's another. So much we don't know right now, but I must say, you can just see the black smoke rising from the Gulf and worry that the next stage could be another downturn.
Yeah, David, let's spend another minute on this. We should, of course, reiterate it's from Iranian state media. It's not been independently verified. I've texted a few people in the Trump administration, no word yet. I mean, news just broke a few moments ago that this alleged event occurred. But if it is true, it is a marked escalation, that this is Iran suggesting that, we do control the Strait of Hormuz, and this is a U.S. warship. There have been attacks on U.S. ships earlier in the war, largely defended. We have learned, though, that in recent reporting that Iran had more success hitting some U.S. military bases in the region in the war's first days than was first known. But if indeed there were some reports, Axios over the weekend reporting that what the president settled upon, this coordination cell for the Strait of Hormuz, was a little bit of a watered-down version. That the original plan was to put U.S. warships, as an escort. This, though, highlights the danger of that. And I agree. I think we'll have to see what comes out of the White House and the president's Truth Social account in the next few minutes or hours. But this feels like it could be a step to resuming hostilities.
It sure does. The idea that U.S. ships have been attacked and there's no response, it won't sit well with President Trump, and is not a way to demonstrate U.S.
Okay, I think we've heard enough. Listen, the strait's not going to be open until Iran says so. Now, mind you, the U.S. is denying it, but multiple other outlets, foreign outlets, are all reported the same thing. They said that the U.S. has absolutely been hit, even though they denied it. It's a sad day when people believe Iran over the U.S. Okay, please pay attention. Now, listen, here we go.
A few foreign outlets are reporting on 2 Iranian missiles hitting a U.S. Navy vessel. The U.S. is straight up denying it, according to Reuters. And while that is a developing situation, it's important to keep in mind that we've seen this before. CNN just did some reporting on just how severe the damage from the retaliatory strikes that came from Iran really were.
Camp During Kuwait.
Exactly. So let us not forget that the U.S. has been lying the entire time about the death toll. They lied about the bases over there in Iran, the 16 bases that were hit, decimated, obliterated, as Trump loves to say. And we saw the report from CNN. Okay, so it's very likely that the U.S. are the ones lying, as per usual. And that would come from the top down, which would mean Trump and keg's breath. Now, here's the next report. U.S. denies Iranian claim that it hit American warship in Strait of Hormuz after Trump launches mission to guide passage. A U.S. official also denied to NBC News that any U.S. Navy ships were denied access to the strait on Monday by Iran. The U.S. has guided ships through the critical waterway as part of the new Project Freedom. Okay, please sit down somewhere. This is what they claim. Yeah, I just don't believe anything Trump says. I just don't. Okay. Now, with that all being said, let's move right along. So let's talk about Trump's bullying. Now, let's go to this clip because they say they will not be bullied, and that's basically all Trump's trying to do. Clearly desperate.
is going to do is to look at what they've done.
Basically, what Mr. Trump is now pursuing in the field of international relations and law, which is surrender, is incompatible with respecting the principle of national sovereignty. No country is prepared to allow any other country's bullying, occupation, and hegemony. Moreover, that era has passed. This also reveals a bitter reality. Iran's resistance stands in contrast to the United States, which, not as a leading power but as a hegemonic one, has always pursued these goals while hiding behind the guise of respecting so-called international norms. Fortunately, Trump lacks any adherence to such norms. The recent statements by Iran's leadership came from Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, who explicitly stated three things.
پوشش و رعایت به اصطلاح هنجارهای بین‌المللی. خوشبختانه ترامپ فاقد رعایت این هنجارها هست.
First, we do not accept a unilateral ceasefire. Second, this is a condition of war. Third, under current wartime conditions, we certainly raise our demands, which can be presented through negotiations. We have made our demands and expectations clear, and they are incompatible with American dominance and so-called American arrogance. Therefore, they are rejected. In their view, negotiation is like one side being the American police, and the other side like Mr. George Floyd's neck under the policeman's knee. We do not accept such an equation at all. We are a powerful country, and we strongly stand by and defend our national security interests. We have stood firm. And now we are waiting to receive both compensation and acceptance of responsibility for the attack on Iran in these potential negotiations, and that will happen. When we solidify our victory, the opposing side must submit to what they have done. The attack on Iran, the damages they inflicted, and they must abandon the path they have followed so far. If there are differences of opinion, those would be among officials who are colloquially called surrender seekers. If they know such officials, they should introduce them to us. Certainly, Parliament, the government, and the people will deal with that official and those officials, but I doubt such an official exists within the system. If there are people outside the system seeking Iran's surrender to American demands, that is another matter. Whoever controls the Strait of Hormuz is clearly the victor in this arena. If necessary, we can also influence Bab el-Mandeb.
Okay, that's just common sense. Whoever is control of the Strait of Hormuz is the victor. Okay, so how's Trump claiming all these victories? And he's never, not one single time during this whole conflict, he's never not once been in control of the Strait. That's what he hasn't been. Okay, his best chance at even trying to have been in control would have been to seize control in the beginning when they snuck and attacked Iran behind their backs after supposedly having talks. Okay? Now, with that all being said, let's go to this report from News Nation where they say Iran tells the U.S. to stay out of the strait. All right. Who does Trump think he is? The Red Cross? Now he wants to do humanitarian work? Please. Who's falling for that?
Today, President Trump says hundreds of ships stuck in the Strait of Hormuz will get out, thanks to the United States. Central Command says the operation, called Project Freedom, involves 15,000 service members and more than 100 aircraft and missile destroyers. The operation coming after multiple cargo ships were attacked in the strait over the weekend. Senior congressional correspondent Joe Khalil has more for us from Doha this morning. Joe, Iran is pushing back on this plan right now. They're calling this a ceasefire violation.
Yeah, they are. The Iranian authorities have basically said that any U.S. ship that either goes through or helps another ship to get through the strait is violating the ceasefire, and they're threatening to respond to that militarily. We don't have the full details of exactly how this is going to happen. President Trump says this is an international effort, and as you mentioned, involving some 15,000 U.S. military personnel. There is some additional reporting from the Wall Street Journal exclusively that they said that this project may not necessarily mean U.S. ships are escorting one by one every ship through the strait. This may be a situation where you have the U.S. sharing intelligence about what are the safest routes through the strait that avoids mines that Iran has already dropped through. Again, Iran not happy with any of this and making threats in terms of retaliation. Meantime, over the weekend, President Trump also said that he is now looking at Iran's latest peace offer to try to end the war. He's expressed skepticism about it based on what he's seen and what advisors have told him, he says. But he did also suggest that there may be more work for the U.S. military to do in Iran in terms of strikes, in terms of degrading their weapons capabilities. This is his latest statement on camera to reporters.
I said that if we left right now, it would take them 20 years to rebuild. But we're not leaving right now. We're going to do it so nobody has to go back in 2 years or 5 years. They told me about the concept of the deal. They're going to give me the exact wording now.
And Marky, breaking news.
Okay, just a load of BS. Now, mind you, Carney came out scathing with words for Trump. And this was just about an hour ago. A high-profile European forum, Mark Carney delivered a speech that many saw as a veiled swipe at Donald Trump without naming him. Praising rule-based order, alliances, and trusted partners, Carney contrasted cooperative global leadership with a more transactional, insular, and brutal world. Okay, let's just go to a clip of this. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
Going eruption.
And y'all are talking about Red Cross. Yeah, that's who Trump must think he is. Talking about they're going to try to do humanitarian efforts with Operation Freedom. Like they're there to free everybody in all the ships. That's why I have him in the thumbnail, him and Keg's Breath, dressed like they work for the Red Cross. They both need to sit down.
Across several dimensions, in technology, in energy, in commerce, and geopolitics. Integration is being used as a weapon by some, and the rules are not constraining the hegemons. Now, we have to actively take on the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. We know nostalgia is not a strategy, but we don't think that we're destined to submit to a more transactional, insular, and brutal world. I'd like to say thank you again for the invitation. I do think that it is fitting that Canada is the first non-European country to join this forum, as we are the most European of non-European countries. We share a triple alignment of history, of values, and trust. Our histories are deeply intertwined. I'll refer back to the water analogy that we just witnessed with the opening ceremony, but it's personified by tens of millions of Canadians of European descent, including more than 60,000 Armenians. Our shared values are born of that common history: freedom, rule of law, democracy, pluralism.
All the things that Trump doesn't exhibit. Okay, please pay attention. Just pay attention. None of those things apply to Trump. Okay, that's why they said he was taking a swipe at Trump without saying his name. Okay, diplomacy, rule of law. Trump doesn't know anything about it because he's a man of lawlessness. Now, with that all being said, listen, I want you all to pay attention because now they have some interesting things coming out about the Epstein case. And I just wonder why we're just now finding out about it, because supposedly one of Jeffrey Epstein's former employees, a woman by the name of Ann Rodriguez, you can see her there in the thumbnail next to Jeffrey himself. She has been arrested and charged with kidnapping of 2 men. And this was March the 1st, but here we are, the beginning of May, and we're just finding out about this nefarious story. Okay, Sherry Douglas says, good morning, Queen. It's all nefarious to me. It is to me too, beloved. Okay, but I'm here for it. Thank you for your insight to the topic or your kind words and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now let's get into the BS, because here's what they report. First of all, they're trying to say that Epstein all of a sudden, mind you, left an suicide note. saying that he left a note about his self-deletion. Now, the reason that's interesting is because why would it all of a sudden just now be coming to surface? Now, they claim that the person who is his cellmate, which is a former police officer from New York, his name is Nicholas Tartaglione, I do believe. We'll get to him in a second. That's him in the thumbnail in the red with the bald head. Now, they say that this man found the self-deletion note. They said he found the self-deletion note, right? And that it's been tied up basically because one of his attorneys left or something like that. And there was some attorney-client privilege. He claims that he opened his book when he returned to his cell and it was in his book. So you mean to tell me Epstein wrote a self-deletion note and put it inside the man's book for him to find rather than leaving it somewhere lying about on the floor or next to his body or somewhere where they would find it? Okay, like sit down somewhere. This is all a lie, in my opinion, concocted so that we won't realize or so that we won't keep saying that Epstein was murdered or even worse, that he's still alive. Okay, so now that's what this is all for, so they can shut up the conspiracy theories as they call it. Okay, please miss us with it. How long has this man been dead? 6 years, right? 6 or 7 years, and now they want to come out with a note. This is all concocted. I don't believe a word of it. Sounds like a whole load of BS. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because they also say that the note is not going to be released. Okay, supposedly it's been sealed or whatnot. So I just find it all interesting. Now let's go to this clip, this news report. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
New tonight, did accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein write a suicide note before attempting to take his own life? The New York Times reporting that a note may exist and is being held under seal by a federal judge. Epstein allegedly writing, "It's time to say goodbye." According to this man, convicted murderer Nicholas Tartaglione, a former NYPD officer who shared a cell with Epstein in 2019. Tartaglione said something similar in a podcast last year.
Jeffrey Epstein wrote a suicide note.
He says he discovered the note after Epstein's apparent suicide attempt weeks before his actual death.
It was in my book, yeah. When I got back into the cell, I opened my book to read, and there it was.
Tartaglione adding,
It said something like FBI, looked into me for months and found nothing.
NBC News has not seen the note, and the Times says it has not either. In a statement, the DOJ says it is hard to comment on a note it has not seen, adding the department underwent an exhaustive effort to collect all records. Epstein's death, which the medical examiner's office declared a suicide, has been the subject of intense scrutiny, with many speculating without proof that Epstein was murdered. A suicide note could potentially dispel the conspiracies. The New York Times is asking the federal court to unseal the alleged suicide note, which is caught up in Tartaglione's legal proceeding. The Times arguing he talked about the note in that podcast, and public interest in Epstein is immense.
Lip IV by
Okay, that sounds like a whole load of BS. Did they pardon? Did they offer him a pardon or something? Because where is he getting this story from that he completely made up, in my opinion? Okay, sounds concocted. Now, mind you, as I said, there is another layer and the plot thickens in the case of Epstein. Okay, it really thickens. Now, here's what they say. Jeffrey Epstein's possible suicide note hidden from public view. An inmate said he discovered the note after Epstein was found injured in his jail cell weeks before his death. It is now locked in a courthouse. So the note purportedly written by Epstein in the Manhattan jail has been kept secretly for nearly 7 years. Even here's the thing, this is all a load of BS, because even if it were caught up in that man's legal proceedings, why wouldn't we still at least have heard about it? Okay, this sounds like something like I said, they just came up to dispel what people are saying. Now, he claims that he discovered the note in July of 2019 after Epstein was found unresponsive with a strip of cloth around his neck. Epstein survived that incident, but weeks later was found deceased in the cell. The note was eventually, so you mean to tell me it was in his book the whole time, even up until Epstein passed away? and Epstein never told him anything about it. The note was eventually sealed by a federal judge as part of the cellmate's own criminal case, according to documents and interviews. That means investigators scrutinizing Epstein's high-profile death lacked what could have been a key piece of evidence. Yeah, right. Okay, now on Thursday, the New York Times petitioned the judge to unseal the note, which said it was time to say goodbye, according to cellmate Nicholas Tartaglione. Now, while Tartaglione mentioned the note on a podcast last year, the scrawled message has remained hidden from public view, even at a time of unprecedented transparency around the government's investigations into Epstein. Since December, the U.S. Justice Department has released millions of pages of documents related to the sexual predator. The Times has not seen the note and could not find it in the Epstein files. A Justice Department spokesperson said the agency had not seen it. But a cryptic two-page chronology in the records describes how the note became tangled up in Tartaglione's messy legal case. The chronology says that Tartaglione's attorneys authenticated the note, though it does not explain how. First of all, how did they authenticate it? Are they handwriting experts? And if they hired handwriting experts to authenticate it, why would they do that? It has nothing to do with their client, and they didn't work for Jeffrey Epstein or his estate, so why would they have gone through the trouble? This all sounds just like BS. Now, if the note was written by Epstein, the message could provide insights into his state of mind in the weeks prior to his death by hanging from a bunk bed. Now, mind you, Tartaglione is now serving 4 life sentences. Now, mind you, this man used to be a police officer, okay? A former police officer charged with quadruple homicide, okay, has long denied assaulting Epstein. The Bureau of Prisons records show that a week after the initial accusation against his cellmate, Epstein told officials that he never had any issues with Tartaglione and felt safe being housed with him. So he supposedly claimed that Tartaglione had attacked him and that he was not suicidal. That was one of the reports at the time from the and this is in the Bureau of Prisons records. They show that a week after the initial accusation against his cellmate, Epstein told officials that he never had any issues and felt safe being housed with Tartaglione. Now, in recent interviews by phone from a federal prison in California, Tartaglione gave his own version of how he came up with the notes. After the July episode, Epstein was moved to a different part of the jail and briefly placed on suicide watch. Around then, Tartaglione says he found the note tucked in a graphic novel. I opened the book to read, and there it was, a piece of yellow paper ripped from a legal pad. The note said that the investigators had looked into Epstein for many months and found nothing. They found nothing, but yet he's in prison, please. He said the message continued along the lines of, what do you want me to do? Bust out crying? Time to say goodbye. First of all, who would write that? Tartaglione gave the note to his attorneys, and he said because it could have been helpful if Epstein continued to claim Tartaglione had tried to hurt him. The note was never mentioned in the official investigations into Epstein's death, including a 2023 report by the Justice Department's Office of the Inspector General. The office declined to comment, but the timeline document released as part of the Epstein files summarizes the note's journey through the justice system and said it's unclear why the document, which is titled Chronology and refers to inmates and lawyers by their initials, was created or who wrote it. I'll tell you who didn't write it, Epstein, okay? Now, either this prisoner, this thug who used to be a police officer, mind you, that murdered 4 people in cold blood, either he just wrote this himself or somebody put him up to it, okay? That's just what I think. That's my 2 cents. But now, with that all being said, let's talk about this former employee, because this is all so nefarious. Now, listen to this. Listen to this, because you all know that since Epstein's alleged demise, his little St. James Island, aka Epstein Island, was supposedly sold to another billionaire. But so why is Epstein's former employee still working on the island, supposedly? Now, here's what they report. former Epstein employee accused of kidnapping at Little St. James. Now, I want you all to listen to the details of the lie, because not the lie, but to the details of this story. And here's the thing. Now, if these people were actually kidnapped, I scarcely doubt that this woman, Anne Rodriguez, whom is in the thumbnail, pictured right next to Epstein, I scarcely doubt that she did this by herself. Someone had to have helped her kidnap 2 whole men. Now, listen to the details. So, police found 2 men stripped and bound in separate incidents on Little St. James Island in recent weeks, both allegedly at or near the former island home of notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, without permission, according to court records that were posted on Monday. So now, longtime Epstein property manager Anne Rodriguez was charged with kidnapping, assault, and destruction of property for allegedly aggressively boating after 2 men on jet skis, forcing one man to strip and then hog-tied him at gunpoint. Now, I need you all to picture it. Because if you know anything about hog-tying someone, now I've never done it, but I'm just saying, we all know how it looks when a person is hog-tied. Okay, the person's face down, both hands behind their backs, and then the feet or ankles also bound and connected to the hands. That's how you hog-tie somebody. So you mean to tell me this lady saw these 2 guys jet skiing? Now follow me. Let's see how it all pans out. Maybe it makes sense and maybe not. But here's the thing. Picture it. These 2 guys out there jet skiing. This woman goes boating after them. She comes boating after them, catches them, pulls out a gun, no less, forces one of them to strip, and then she hog-ties him. So what is she doing with the gun while she's hog-tying them? Because I would think that for a female specifically, it would take both hands to hog-tie a grown man. And what was the other man doing at the time? Did he just flee away on his other jet ski? Likely so. But anyway, let's continue because this is all crazy. So it goes on to say she told the man to strip, and then he was hog-tied at gunpoint. So agents from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Virgin Islands Police Department descended on the island March the 1st when the man's brother fled on a jet ski to alert authorities. So he just left his brother there to fend for himself, clearly. So the brothers were attempting to film a documentary about the island when Rodriguez and other men, not named in police reports, allegedly sped up. Rodriguez allegedly leveled a gun at the man while shouting, "I will kill you." This is what she yelled. Absolutely cannot. Okay? Absolutely cannot. Claudette said Superwoman. Ashcon said hog-tied on the ocean. Oh my God. Christopher said she sounds like a wild animal. Oh my God. This sounds like a scary movie. Doesn't this sound like a horror movie or something? You're out there jet skiing, la la la, minding your own business, living life like it's golden. All of a sudden comes a boat with some crazy arse lady waving a gun. "I'll kill you." And then she catches up to you, forces you to strip, and then a hog ties you. No, that's my goodness, who was this woman? Jason Voorhees' mother? This is all crazy. But let me continue. So anyway, goes on to say, so much for the documentary they were trying to film. So she allegedly ordered the man to swim to her boat. Now, do y'all hear this? She ordered him to swim to her boat where he was made to kneel with his hands over his head. The other brother filmed part of the encounter and then, fearing he was next, sped away to summon police. First of all, who's filming as this is going on? Who is filming? Okay, I have several questions, to say the least. Now, Authorities arrived to find the victim hog-tied and naked in the back of the boat. Rodriguez had allegedly rifled the victim's bag and thrown memory cards containing drone footage of the island into the sea. The handgun turned out to be a BB gun designed to look like a Glock 19 with no orange safety markings. Police found 2 more similar weapons on the island. Wait a second here. So you mean to tell me this wasn't even a real darn gun? Are y'all listening to this? So this wasn't even a real gun. First of all, if you're on a jet ski, please pay attention, and someone points a gun at you from their boat and demands that you swim to them, wouldn't you try to get away on the jet ski? Who in their right mind would get off the jet ski, literally swim to their death? Because for all you know, this crazy idiot's going to kill you. And she already said it, I will kill you. So now you're going to swim to her? You're not going to try to escape like your brother did? Like, this all sounds ridiculous, but let's continue. And like I said, even if true, I would have to think that she had some help, because there's another story that I'll get to maybe tomorrow, but her father is someone who also worked there. He's passed away, and so his name was Big Sam. That's what they called him. So if anything happened, if this is actually true, I would think that someone else had to help this woman. We know it wasn't Big Sam because he's deceased. I already found his obituary when I was digging for dirt. But anyway, let me continue. So Rodriguez, who identified herself as still the property manager of the Little St. James Island, now owned by billionaire investor Stephen Deckoff, told police uninvited visitors frequently approach the island to obtain social media content. Now, Rodriguez did not respond to telephone messages left Monday asking about the frequency of trespassers on the island. Okay, first of all, didn't respond. Why is she not still in jail? Okay, it was not clear why the March 1st incident wasn't heard at Superior Court until Monday, but it was not the last time that she would acknowledge to police that she had chased an alleged intruder, an island intruder, with a boat. In the same courtroom Monday, a Tennessee man pleaded not guilty to trespassing on the island Saturday. Benjamin Jackson Owen and others were allegedly on the island without permission when spotted by a maintenance worker who then alerted Rodriguez's adult daughter. Rodriguez and her daughter found and photographed the men, telling them they were trespassing. So she just took pictures of them. And then tried to capture them. So as the men attempted to flee, one allegedly pushed the daughter, causing the 5 months pregnant woman to fall over. According to police reports, Rodriguez sped after the man as they boated across Pillsbury Sound to St. John, where employees of the boat rental company refused her request to identify their customers. This woman must be hell on wheels. Who does she think she is, Rambo? I mean, if she, Trisha said, sounds like Italians. If she did all of this woman has to be the equivalent of Kill Bill. Okay? She has to be one of the women from Kill Bill or Rambo or somebody, because this is all crazy. Just Anticipate said this will make a good movie. I mean, it definitely will. Okay, so let me continue. So anyway, it goes on to say, they wouldn't tell her who the people were. Now, while filling out a police report, she received a call from her daughter. Maintenance workers had detained one of the alleged intruders, tying his hands and mouth with duct tape, according to police reports. Now, did they get arrested as well? Because that's kidnapping. Okay, now, officers arrived to find Owen shirtless, restrained with duct tape, and Paul J. Arnold III, boyfriend of the pregnant woman, acting so aggressively that officers had to warn him to calm down. The warning worked only briefly, according to reports. Now, Paul J. Arnold III exited an all-terrain vehicle positioned behind the officers and proceeded to walk past law enforcement personnel. Shortly thereafter, I heard a loud impact consistent with a physical strike. Although I did not directly observe the moment of contact, the sound and immediate reaction of the officers indicated that a physical altercation had occurred. Law enforcement officers immediately responded and detained Paul J. Arnold III. Now, he did not resist and handcuffs were applied. Officers then removed the duct tape restraints from Benjamin Owen. Photographs were taken to document his prior condition to his release from the bindings. Both Benjamin Owen and Paul J. Arnold III were subsequently taken into custody and transported via the Marine unit vessel to the Richard Caldwood Command. This is according to police and what they told the Superior Court. Arnold was charged with assault, but police were investigating further unlawful restraint and kidnapping charges against the island employees. These people all sound crazy. And that's what I'm saying. I knew there had to be somebody there to help her. Okay, she's not able to just do all this by herself. And then had a fake gun. So the man didn't even try to fight her. Like when he got on board, he just sat there and let her make him strip and then put his hands behind. I cannot fathom that. He must have been a real coward because I'd have been fighting like hell. Okay, this is kill or be killed. By the time I got done, I'd have known for sure that gun was fake. Okay, that's all I'm saying. This sounds so ridiculous, but let me continue. So anyway, Arnold was charged with assault, but police were investigating further unlawful restraint and kidnapping charges against the island employees. Now, Owen allegedly told police he and others had been on the island to take photographs for his Atlanta area nonprofit. Oh, no, he is not from the ATL. Okay, We Fight Monsters. But he was too winded to escape when his compatriots ran away. Okay. Y'all hear this? This is all so crazy. This is all so crazy. Well, you know, one thing I will say is that they're supposed captives, though they were from Atlanta, they must not be people who look like me because we already know that's not how it would have gone down. Okay, first of all, you're not getting a black person off of a jet ski to swim to their death across an ocean. That's what you're not going to do. Gino Zach said madness. Exactly. This all sounds like a bad made-for-TV movie. Okay, so anyway, but hold on. The plot further thickens, beloveds. Now listen to this, because I thought this was interesting too, and though I don't believe a word of it. So supposedly, there is a son of Norwegian diplomats who got $5 million from Epstein. Now, all of a sudden, he's dead by a supposed suicide. So the son of two senior Norwegian diplomats under investigation over their ties to Jeffrey Epstein has died by self-deletion after files revealed his parents took him to the PDF files island when he was only 10 years old. Edward Jewel Rod-Larsen, 25 years old, who had been they say he had been bequeathed $5 million by the disgraced financier, was found dead in Oslo on Wednesday. And this is according to the Norwegian paper. Hold on, let me pull up a picture of this young man. This is all crazy. Like up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. So they say that he was found deceased. Now, his parents, Mona Jewel and Terje Rod-Larsen, are both under investigation by Norwegian authorities after their alleged links to Epstein were uncovered in the files released by the Department of Justice. Now, in a statement released by the couple's attorneys, they blamed the speculation about their financial ties to the dead PDF file as a contributing factor in their son's demise. They called out months of a public spotlight that has long since ceased to be critical and has instead become suspicious, speculative, and at times limitless. They say a spotlight that has not only affected two parents, but has also drawn their children involuntarily into the relentless machinery of the public. Now, the news comes just 2 days after Norwegian and French police announced a joint corruption investigation into the couple. They probably killed their own son just to try to cover up what they had done or just to try to have sympathy. I mean, I just find it all interesting, to say the least. Now, with that all being said, here's a picture of the young man and his family. Okay, that's him. This is the mother on the left, the son, the daughter, and then the father. So the son is the one who passed away from self-deletion, allegedly. I mean, that's their story, and I guess they're sticking to it. So anyway, goes on to say that this news comes 2 days after the announcements of a joint corruption investigation to the parents. Now, Jewel was forced to resign as Norway's ambassador to Jordan and Iraq in February as a result of the scandal, while her husband, a former president of the International Peace Institute, is also accused of gross corruption. Rod-Larsen was pictured in the Epstein files holding up his phone, showing a social media page of a woman in a bikini. Now, the couple appears to have visited Epstein's private island, Little St. James, with their children back in 2011, when Edward and his twin sister would have been around 10 years old. Rod-Larsen later thanked Epstein for the invite, describing the island as totally unique. We all loved it, he said. Now, he added Mona sends kisses in the email. Now, the DOJ's files also indicate that the couple's two children were bequeathed $10 million by Epstein after he died in 2019, while Turgeon was appointed executor of Epstein's will in 2017, although he was later revoked, or this was later revoked. The diplomatic power couple was part of the group that facilitated the Oslo Accords between Is Not Real and Palestine's Liberation Organization back in the 1990s. Now, both denied committing any offenses, and the Epstein scandal has implicated power brokers in all countries all over the world. In February, it was revealed that Norway's crown princess, Mette-Marit, sent Epstein flirty, fawning emails in which she said he tickled her brain. Now, Mette-Marit has since expressed deep regret over her relationship with Epstein, acknowledging poor judgment on her part. You think? So I find it interesting that all of this is just coming out in the wash. Okay, I find it all interesting. Now, here's another tidbit of information. So supposedly, one of the attorneys, based on reports from February 2026, there was a high-profile attorney who left her position due to fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein files. And this is a woman by the name of Kathy Rumler, who was the chief legal officer at Goldman Sachs and former White House counsel. Pay attention. Now, she announced her resignation in February of 2026, effective June 30th of 2026. And here are the following reasons why. Due to intense media scrutiny and distraction. Following the release of millions of pages of Justice Department documents, intense media attention focused on her and her prior relationship with Epstein, which she stated was becoming a distraction. So she, and mind you, in the emails that were released in the Epstein files, she was referring to Jeffrey as Uncle Jeffrey. Okay, the files revealed that between 2014 and 2019, Rumler had extensive communication with Epstein, during which she sometimes referred to him as Uncle Jeffrey. Okay, so now she's taking leave, I guess, in her position. So the documents showed that she advised Epstein on how to respond to media inquiries regarding his previous sex crimes shortly before his arrest in 2019. Now, reports indicated that she also accepted gifts from Epstein, including a fur coat and a handbag during her time in private practice after leaving the White House. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. The corruption is so rampant. Now, Rumler, who had been the head of the white-collar defense practice at Latham and Watkins before joining Goldman Sachs in 2020, maintained that she dealt with Epstein only in her capacity as a defense attorney, but subsequently stated she regrets ever knowing him. Well, that's what they all say after they're exposed. She wasn't too regretful of it. She accepted that fur coat. Okay, and that handbag, no less, and probably a whole bunch of other things too. So yeah, I find it all interesting. And what I find further interesting, beloveds, is the fact that there's been a man on a bridge. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. And why haven't we heard about this? There's a man on a bridge in D.C., and this man, why is he on this bridge? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because the poor man's up there protesting the war on Iran. So let's go to it. Protesters still atop Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge. He says he will soon come down. And police have reopened traffic to the bridge while Iran war protester Guido Reichstatter remains in place. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so we can get into this report. This poor man's been up on this bridge for days. Maybe let me just hush. Let me just be quiet. I mean, but maybe we all should be saying something about this nefarious war and the Epstein files, because if we don't say anything and make our voices heard, all hell's going to continue to break loose, and I promise you it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better.
And he's saying he could come down soon.
He says a range of hot-button political issues are driving
Since Friday, and he's saying he could come down soon.
He says a range of hot-button political issues are driving him to take this stand. Our Jess Arnold live at the scene where police are on high alert as the situation continues. Jess, what are we seeing this morning?
Yeah, well, at last check, that protester Guido Reichstatter is still up there on top of the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge in terms of traffic impacts. Our team did drive by that bridge not too long ago and is seeing one lane of traffic open. That means 2 lanes closed near where he is up there again on that bridge since Friday. Now, he had said when he climbed up there that he's mainly protesting the Iran war as well as the unchecked development of AI. Our team actually spoke with him over the phone on Friday, and he said then that the reason he climbed a 168-foot tall bridge is this.
It attracts attention, and attention is what the first point at which people begin to change their behavior. What I'm actually calling people to do is to stop cooperating, to stop doing what's expected of them, to stop supporting the regime through their work, through their taxes, through their voluntary cooperation with the law.
In his X post last night, Reichstatter also wrote that, quote, one man on a bridge is relatively powerless, end quote, but a united front could turn the tide, advocating for nonviolent protest. He said the tipping point to act this time was when he heard about the U.S. bombing of a school in Iran. As a father of 2, he said he couldn't stay quiet. This isn't the first time that Reichstatter has climbed the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge in protest. He was up there for a little over 24 hours in 2022 in protest of the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Our team has been keeping an eye, as we've been saying, on the bridge overnight into this morning. As soon as we get an update on when Reichstatter is coming down specifically, we'll let you know. Again, he said that he does plan to do so at some point this morning. Now, the D.C. Department of Transportation also told our team a couple of days ago that after Reichstatter's protest in 2022, they didn't end up making any changes to the bridge because they couldn't figure out a way to do that in a way that would not compromise safety there on the bridge. In terms of any charges that this protester Reichstatter could be facing when he comes down, we reached out to D.C. police this morning for confirmation. Guys.
All right, as you said, unclear when exactly.
I'm just trying to figure out, how is he going to get down 168 feet? Okay, that is really crazy. Mr. Elevation said, I have questions. Has he come down for a bathroom break, honey? I don't know, but this is all strange. Okay, this is all very strange. There's no way I would be up on a bridge that high trying to protest anything. Okay, and let's take a look at this clip. How did he even get up there is my question. Okay, I'm afraid of heights. Okay, you couldn't pay me to do it at all. Okay, you couldn't pay me to do it at all. Now, with that all being said, I told you all days ago how the demon crabs just how the Democrats just sold us all the way out. They're really trying, listen, I want you all to pay attention. They're really trying to take us back to Jim Crow. Okay, do you all know Tennessee has recently made it illegal for interracial marriages? Hold on, we're going to get into all of it. Pay attention.
Democrats just sold us out, and they're willing to let Trump and his administration spy on American citizens. Let's get into it. 42 House Democrats voted in favor of a clean reauthorization of FISA Section 702, a surveillance law that Stephen Miller, as a Trump administration official, and his allies all supported. Okay, please pay attention. So they passed this without any serious reforms other than the ban on central bank digital currency. Now, this allows for them to use a loophole, okay, the data broker loophole, which will allow the government to purchase data on American citizens, okay, from commercial brokers without a warrant. Now, this means that basically they can conduct surveillance on us without so much as a warrant. Okay, please pay attention. Now, only 22 Republicans were against this, but the interesting thing for me is that 42 Democrats supported this, okay, despite the calls from privacy advocates for reforms to prevent the warrantless surveillance. Critics argued that this vote aligned with the interests of Trump-aligned figures, including Stephen Miller, to maintain surveillance capabilities. Now, this, of course, caused controversy because the decision drew criticism from progressive groups and some members of the party who wanted to see restrictions on the government's ability to search through our data. Now, quite frankly, this appears to be a specific instance of legislative crossover on a surveillance bill rather than a general alignment with Stephen Miller's broader ideological platform. Okay, please pay attention. Now, mind you, Congress did pass a 45-day extension on Section 702, and this was to keep it from expiring while stalling on long-term reauthorization due to deep divisions over privacy protections and warrantless surveillance. Lawmakers needed more time to negotiate the reforms, specifically over Americans' data following the failure of earlier long-term proposals. But mind you, proponents argue that Section 702 is a critical national security tool for monitoring foreign targets, and letting it lapse would create dangerous intelligence gaps. And now, in my opinion, the current extension just serves to kick the legislative can down the road, ensuring current controversial surveillance authorities remain intact while debates continue upon returning from recess. Okay, please pay attention. At the end of the day, everyone needs to be calling their representatives to ask them why they want this to pass and why they think it's okay for the government to be spying on U.S. citizens, why it's okay for them to do these things without so much as a warrant. And also, while they're at it, why don't they also let us know why it is that the FBI can come and knock on your door to intimidate you for social media posts when you're not making any threats, you're not saying anything dangerous or anything like that. I want to know these things. We all should. Okay, this is getting real dangerous and really crazy out here. Okay, please pay attention. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur.
Okay, I have several questions. Now let's go to this clip where this woman says Tennessee recently passed a bill making it illegal to have interracial marriages.
Tennessee just recently passed a bill that could affect interracial couples getting married. And I know it might be stupid getting so upset about it.
There's nothing stupid about it at all, sweetheart. And I'm very sorry if anybody's made you feel like that. You see, we knew that this was coming. Remember when they decided to make it a law that women couldn't decide what to do with their own bodies? And we told everyone at that time, this is just the beginning. Just you wait. And everybody's like, no, this isn't about the gays. This isn't about blacks and whites. This is about saving children. And look where we are now. A week ago today, last Thursday, Tennessee passed a bill that empowered government employees to deny marriage to same-sex couples, interracial couples, and interfaith couples. What? So to all of you people who said that this wasn't something that was going to be happening, especially you gay conservative Christians, what about now? What do you have to say now? When you see all these bills being passed, what about now? Still don't think it's happening? The bills that are being presented are disgusting, and the people passing them are equally disgusting. And I'm just here to remind everyone that there are more of us than there are of them. Take that however the hell you want to. I said what I said. Land of the free, my ass.
Okay, she's absolutely right. There are more of them than there are more of us than there are of them. Okay, so with that being said, people need to start speaking out. making waves, okay? And let me just tell you all something. I'm going to give you all the list of these nefarious Democrats who had the nerve and the audacity, dare I say, to sell us out. You need to be calling these people. You need to be calling these people, okay? Because I'm going to be calling raising hell. Hold on. And I have a script for you that you can use that this lovely lady came up with. I can't remember her name, but nonetheless, this is what you can say when you call. Okay, let me just pull this up. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, and mind you, I reported to you all the other day how the feds keep showing up at people's homes for the social media posts. Honey, I'm waiting for it. I promise you I'm waiting for it. Okay, I'm waiting for that knock, for that doorbell ring, honey. Okay, I got a feeling it's coming soon. Now, listen, let's check this out.
Interesting visit today from the Department of Homeland Security and the Secret Service. Yeah, no bullshit. 6 black SUVs out front of my house, shut down the street, interrogating all my neighbors about me, asking questions like I'm some kind of internationally wanted war criminal, all over my social media posts. No bullshit. Yeah, they left me a little placard. On the placard, it says, POTUS threat, because I would ever, or have I ever, threatened the president of the United States over fucking Instagram. It's just not my style. You know what I mean? But let's be honest, that's not what this is about. This is an intentional bullying campaign. This is an intimidation to get me to shut the fuck up, okay? And it's not happening. I don't fear your threats. I fear no man. I don't even fear death. The only thing I fear is God. Okay. And if the truth that I spread makes me your enemy, then you better sharpen your fucking swords, because I would rather die standing in my convictions than ever bow like a fucking coward. Instead of wasting taxpayer dollars and time, energy, and resources to come investigate me, why don't you put that same energy into tracking motherfuckers down from the Epstein files? Why don't you put that same energy into tracking down actual pedophiles so I don't have to do it on my free time? How about you put that same time and energy into investigating anyone from the Epstein files that's in our federal government right now as we speak? The cherry on top of all this is I'm no stranger to being on the Fed's radar. Okay, I've been on the FBI watch list for I don't even know how long. The International Organized Crime Database. I mean, all the above. And I have never, not a single time, ever been harassed over my social media posts.
Yeah, I want y'all to pay attention. All right, I want y'all to pay attention. I find it all nefarious, don't you? That's real crazy. But he said what he said. At the end of the day, that's all it is. I told you all that days ago. It's just a intimidation tactic. Okay, trying to scare people, trying to come knock on your door. You didn't break any laws. So please, honey, don't come knock on my door with the BS. All right. Now, with that all being said, let me show you a list of the low down, dirty Democrats who have no problem with Trump and Palantir using AI to spy on us. Okay, please pay attention. Here's the first batch of names. If these are any of your representatives, please make sure you call them and ask them questions. Okay, because I have more than a few. Here they go right here. You see these names? These are the traitors. These people all need to be voted out. It's them right there, and that's just the first batch. Now, here are the next ones. Here they go. Take a good look at these names. You can always rewind it and go back if you miss any. I'm going to call them. They're not even in my jurisdiction. Okay, they're not even my reps, but I'm going to call them nonetheless, because what in the hell? And this is what I'll be talking about right here. But also, I want you all to notice something else. You know, how many of you remember me telling you, years ago, once in the chat, if you remember, that we don't decide the president when we vote, that the presidential election is decided by the Electoral College, regardless as to the popular vote. How many of you remember me telling you that? Please put a 1 in the chat. Please put a 1 in the chat, because they literally admitted to it. We're going to get into it. Please put a 1 in the chat. Okay, because here's the thing. Years ago, when I was in college, I looked up the purpose of the Electoral College. And it basically said that that's in place because they don't want the populace to be able to determine who's the president, because we might be foolishly tricked by a dictator. And then get someone in there who's just uncheckable, basically, like Trump. So they said that's what the Electoral College is for. And how you know that to be true is because when you think about how Al Gore literally beat Bush by the popular vote, but Bush won by the Electoral College. That's because that's who they wanted. They didn't want Al Gore, they wanted Bush. The same thing happened with Hillary and Trump. Trump didn't win the popular vote. He won by the Electoral College. That's because they wanted Trump in there, not Hillary. Hillary had the popular vote. So that's how you all should know. But here's the thing. I'm going to show you the proof. Okay, I'm going to show you the proof because here's how it works. It's the illusion of inclusion. Now, I'm not talking about any other elections. I'm talking specifically only about the presidential election. The presidents are selected. They're not elected. Okay, and with that being said, here's the thing. Now, why they have us go out there and vote for them, in my opinion, is so that we feel like we had a say-so in it. And also so they can gauge the popularity of the chosen pick with the population, with the citizens. Okay. But now here's the thing. So they had hearings the other day. Hold on. Let me just show you all one more thing. Hold on. I almost forgot. There's one more batch of these devils. Let me just show you. And then there's also the script that you all can use when you call. Okay, when you call about this. We need to get rid of the incumbents and vote for the people that are coming in trying to replace them, because these people are just shady and we can't trust them. We already know about people taking APAC money. Okay, clearly. Now, we have a lot to cover, and I'm just trying to get as much of it done as quickly as possible so I don't have you all on here all morning. Okay, now here's what you can send them, or what you can say to them when you make these calls. Okay, to these Dems, please say, hi, I'm a constituent calling from, and then state your zip code. My name is blank. I'm calling to say that I'm deeply disappointed in Representative blank for voting to reauthorize FISA Section 702 yesterday with no warrant requirements and without closing the data broker loophole. Now, the Congress member has sold out my privacy and failed to protect the American people from Trump and Miller's lawlessness. I will remember it when I vote. Okay, make sure you let them know that. Okay, make sure you let them know that. All right, because unlike the presidential election, these votes actually count. Okay, so with that being said, let's go to the footage where they literally basically admit that it is all about the Electoral College. Here it is right here. And in fact, they said it more than once. They said it more than once, but I know that I sent at least one of the clips to my email. So here we go. Now, mind you, this is when they were having the hearings, the confirmation hearings for Trump's nominees for federal judges, lifetime federal judges. And these people are so stupid. You can just tell that they have been given a script by Trump, because all they do during the questioning is the same thing. I mean, they won't even answer the simplest questions. And it's obvious to me that they have been given a script by Trump. Okay, by Trump's administration, because they do the same thing that Keg's Breath and Small Change Patel and Blondie, that they all were doing. They will not answer questions indirectly. Instead, they deflect, gaslight, and pivot. Okay, now this is a simple question. They were asked, who won the 2020 election? Richard Blumenthal gets so upset, okay, because the man just will not answer the question directly. He starts gaslighting. Like, you can't tell us who won the 2020 election? Well, no, he can't tell you that. And the reason he can't tell you that is because Trump has continuously said that it was stolen, that he was cheated, that he was robbed. But in the same or the next breath, he's also admitted that he lost. He said, we lost by a hair. We lost by a small margin. So you admit the defeat. Trump knows darn well the election wasn't stolen from him. He knows that he lost. But his people, MAGA, they're so stupid that they went and did a whole insurrection at the Capitol, okay, just based off of his lies and BS.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Smith, you signed an amicus brief in December of 2020 supporting an effort to dispute the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. I've been asking all of the nominees about who won the 2020 election. As you may know, I understand you may have been asked already this morning. I want to hear it for myself. Who won the popular vote in the 2020 election?
You're right, Senator. I have been asked that by one of your colleagues already. And as I explained, the popular vote is not part of the Article 2 or the 12th Amendment. There's an electoral college that meets in December of an election year for president and that gathers.
Did you all just hear that? Did you all just hear that? He just exposed it. Okay, he literally just exposed it. He said the popular vote is not part of Article 2. Okay? Then he said the Electoral College meets in December, but elections are in November. So he said the Electoral College meets in December. Hold on. Let me roll it back for anybody who missed it.
The Article 2 or the 12th Amendment, there's an electoral.
I want to hear it for myself. Who won the popular vote in the 2020 election?
You're right, Senator. I have been asked that by one of your colleagues already. And as I explained, the popular vote is not part of the Article 2 or the 12th Amendment. There's an electoral college that meets in December of an election year for president and that gathers to cast the electoral votes.
Who won the 2020 election?
The person who became president in January 2021 was when Congress certified.
In other words, you're not going to answer. You're going to give me the same rote, rehearsed answer, which frankly makes you look ridiculous, if not pathetic. And I'll ask you another question, give you an opportunity maybe to be more forthcoming to this committee. Who won the popular vote in the 2020 election?
As I was just saying, the popular vote is not something that's contemplated by the Constitution.
I'm asking you who won it. As a member of the Court of Appeals, you are responsible for looking to the facts as well as the law. Granted, facts found by the trial court. And I'm asking you to look at the facts here and give me a straight answer. Who won the popular vote in the 2020 election?
In January 2021 was when Congress counted the Electoral College votes and certified Joe Biden as the president.
So you're not going to answer my question. You know, I would have thought, here you are as a nominee. I recognize the anxiety that someone in your position may feel, the fear that the President of the United States may be watching, but you're in a pretty secure position. As a member of the court with lifetime tenure, you're in an indisputably secure position. If you don't have the courage now to state your independent judgment on a clear factual issue, I don't know how the United States Senate can confirm you as a member of one of the most powerful courts in the country.
And then he asked him did Donald Trump lose? He doesn't want to answer that either. He just says the same thing again, that Joe Biden was confirmed as the winner. Okay, but let's go to the next clip. This is all crazy. Ashkan said, how can they not answer such basic questions? Because, beloved, they don't want to tick off Trump. Trump has likely already told them what to say. I mean, it literally sounds like a script because they all say exactly the same thing.
To Senator Kennedy. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for your service. Ms. Westerkamp, who won the 2020 election?
Senator, under our Constitution, the Electoral College votes for the president, and then that is certified by Congress.
Now, y'all heard that she said the same thing. She said the Electoral College votes for the president and it's certified by Congress. Okay, so your votes do not determine who is going to be the president. Now, sometimes the popular votes align with whom they've chosen to be the president. Okay, please pay attention. But when it doesn't, the Electoral College is like, we didn't want this person. We're going to pick this one. And that's just what they do.
And in 2020, President Biden was certified by the Electoral.
Yeah, that's not my question. Who won the election?
And again, Senator, under our Constitution, and it's actually.
Oh, you know, I know who was certified, and I know what you think of certification because you tweeted on January 6th in a post saying, in reference to the 2020 election results, a certified lie is still a lie. I'm asking you, who won the 2020 election? Let me make it more specific. Who won the popular vote?
Again, Senator, under our Constitution, what matters is who the Electoral College votes as.
But I'm not asking you for what the Constitution says.
Now, please pay attention. She says it again. She says under the Constitution, it matters what the Electoral College says. Okay, so not what me and you go out here and do. Okay, do y'all hear it? And I find that interesting because you know what everybody should do? Everybody should stop voting for the president. That's what everybody should do. Let nobody vote because everybody should know that it's all a sham. Okay, it's the illusion of inclusion. And yes, she absolutely is sounding like a recording.
I'm asking you for your view factually. And frankly, we've received this kind of canned, ridiculous answer before, as you know, because you were instructed to give this answer, right?
Senator, I am speaking to what the Constitution, under our Constitution again, and that is actually Article 2,
Let me
as well
ask you
as
this. Who won the 2024 election?
in the 2024 election, again, the Electoral College voted for President Trump, and then the Congress also certified President Trump as
Did
the winner.
Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Senator, that goes back again to under our Constitution, the methodology is set forth in Article 2.
Let's try another question, Ms. Westerkamp. Was the United States Capitol attacked on January 6, 2021?
Senator, again, I condemn all of the violence that occurred on January 6th.
Okay, we're not going to get an answer from you. And let me try Ms. Clark. Ms. Clark, who won the 2020 election?
Senator, under our Constitution, the mechanism for electing a president
I am amazed. I am just amazed by the insult to this committee of witness after witness seeking to be a federal judge, subverting our Constitution, and showing how you have no independence, which is essential to a federal judge. Ms. Lane, who won the 2020 election?
Apologies. Again, Senator, the Constitution outlines the process, and as a judicial nominee, I'm here to talk about what the Constitution requires, which is an electoral vote and certification by Congress. And in 2020,
okay. Who won the election?
In 2020, President Biden.
Mr. Rickey, who won the 2020 election?
Senator, as my colleagues have stated, the process we have under the Constitution is a vote by the Electoral College, followed by certification.
Was the Capitol attacked, Mr. Rickey, on January 6th?
There was violence that occurred here on January 6th, Senator.
Was the Capitol attacked?
I would just say, Senator, there was violence that occurred here on that date.
You've seen videos of what happened.
Yes, Senator, I have.
Was the Capitol attacked?
Okay. Again, Senator, I said
Ms. Lane, was the Capitol attacked?
Senator, the characterization of January 6th is subject to ongoing controversy and debate. And as a nominee, it would be inappropriate for me to characterize it.
Ms. Clark, who won the 2024 election?
Senator, under the process set out by the Constitution, the Electoral College elects the president, and it's sort of the
Can you
president.
pull
is
that mic a little closer, please?
and the Electoral College elects the president. And
You know, the answers here, which obviously are canned, they're pre-rehearsed, they're Orwellian in their denial of reality, and they are a subversion of this process. They're an insult to this committee, but they also fundamentally show a complete lack of independence and backbone and impartiality, which are the fundamental requirements of a United States District Court judge or a judge on any panel, Ms. Westerkamp. And I'm a little bit disappointed that you're not more original, that you can't.
They all had the same script and they clearly sound like robots. Okay, they sound like they've all been programmed. I mean, this is what cult members do. This is what they do. I mean, every last one of them, one by one down the line, they all said the same thing. And this is what they've been told to say, no less.
Same answer as my colleague, Senator.
Same answer as the previous one.
The previous nominee. The Senate did.
Mr. Coons, how about you?
Thank you, Senator. And I have the same answer as Mr.
Same
Hendershot.
answer. Unwilling to say that Joe Biden won the election, correct?
As Mr. Hendershot said, it has become a matter of political concern, and Joe Biden.
Well, it's a matter of
certified the
political
winner.
concern, but it's also an issue of fact. Is it not?
Joe Biden was in fact certified the winner of the 2020 election.
Mr. Mark?
Same answer, Senator.
I am amazed and really appalled that nominees for a lifetime appointment to the federal bench are unwilling to respond on an issue of fact. And I'm not going to try to get an answer out of you because
Okay, he said clearly they've been rehearsed to provide the same exact answer. No need to even going any further. Okay, but now here's the thing. Let's go back to that moment in time from just days ago. And listen, y'all need to let everybody know this. Y'all need to let everybody know this, that these people just sat up here and admitted blatantly, publicly, before a hearing, a confirmation hearing, that they admitted that the Electoral College decides the president, okay? The popular vote is not even in Article 2 or the 12th Amendment. So what does that tell you? Okay, what does that tell you? Now, with that all being said, let's go to Scott Jennings. Because if you remember, Scott Jennings basically got all mad with Adam Mockler the other day, tried to act like a tough guy and all of that. But what I find interesting about the whole thing is the fact that Scott Jennings put his own finger in someone's face. Did y'all know that? Hold on, let me find that darn clip. Here it is right here. Okay, he put his own finger in somebody's face and then has the audacity to try to go in on Adam. Let's get into it. Now, I found this old clip. And I'm going to tell you another thing, too. CNN knows that this man's going to come on there and be dramatic and keep up mess or whatever. They keep inviting Jennings back for the ratings, okay, for views, because they know he's controversial. They know he's going to talk trash and it's going to be something's going to get started. That's why they do it, okay? They're not fooling me. And then they can sit there, the journalist who's hosting, she can sit there and pretend that, oh, you know, you're doing too much. Oh, like, calm down. Everybody needs to, but they love it. That's why they keep having him on there.
Are there any lies?
Oh, shit. Sorry, I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. Hold on. Let me go back to it real quick. Yeah, but so they know what they're doing. They keep having him back on here for the ratings and the views. That's all it is. Because all he does is get on there and harass people, in my opinion, and talk crazy. Now, check this out.
Any lies that Donald Trump tells that you are disturbed by?
I don't want any politician to lie ever. I wish they would all tell the truth all the time.
That was a Kamala
Harris summation. What is a lie that Donald Trump? Look, first of all, I don't answer to you, and I don't answer to you. That's number one. Number two, it is my sincere. Well, I don't answer to these two guys. It's my sincerest hope that all politicians do the best job they can.
You know, I want to resolve this with you putting your finger in my face. Let me finish, sir. Let me finish. Let me finish. You put your finger in my face and you were aggressive and you said you don't ask. Let me ask you a question though.
I don't.
You don't ask me a question. I thought you told us, Abby, that we all should speak among each other, not wait for you. And if it's all right,
you're gonna ask me for my number after the show?
Hang on, Scott and Michael.
Brother, don't start.
In the spirit of conversation at the table, we're gonna keep the conversation at the table. We're not gonna have side chats because it's not helpful.
I'm talking.
Okay, y'all saw that. Pointing his finger in that man's face. And then he said, and then at the end he said, brother, okay, please. Don't call him brother. Sit down somewhere. Yeah, but he doesn't have a problem sticking his finger in somebody's face. But he got mad with poor little Adam because, first of all, Adam was eating him alive, okay, at the age of 23, and he couldn't take it.
Get your fucking hands out of my face. This is so crazy, it makes my hair stand on end. Get your fucking hands out of my face. That's what Scott Jennings said to a 23-year-old Adam Mockler, who was being annoying / insistent, and was also right, because Jennings was part of the Bush administration that sold us the weapons of mass destruction bullshit. And now he's trying to pretend like there's nothing to be worried about and going into Iran and not having any allies and not having a plan to get out. So he says, get your hands up. I told you already that he goes at this kid because he wants to convey the message that might makes right. That as long as you're angry and outraged, you don't have to make good points. You don't have to even make sense. So he just threatens this kid. No, get your hands out of my fucking. I want to see what you're going to do about it, he says to this kid. He's not a tough guy. He wants you to be conditioned by harshness. So that's not about right and wrong. It's just about right and left and which one is worse.
Now, Cuomo sounded like a typical Italian. Yeah, that's Chris Cuomo. Cuomo sounded like a typical Italian when he said that. What you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? Get your head out of my effing face. I am so done. D Major said he looks rough. Well, you see his hair was standing on end clearly, beloved. Okay, he's probably stressed out like we all are, honey, please. We're all going to be looking like that in a second. Okay, I promise you. By the time Trump gets through destroying the entire economy, okay, and ruining lives and all of that, we're all going to be looking exactly like Chris Cuomo was looking right there. Okay, old as hell, hair standing on top of our heads and all of it. Okay, so don't clown him too soon, honey, because we're going to be looking like that, exactly like that in a few months. Okay, I'm looking like that right now, quite frankly. That's why the camera's off. Okay, what are you talking about here? Okay, please pay attention. Okay, I find it all nefarious. Okay, Claudette said no lies detected. Okay, honey, we're going through hell and back. Okay, please pay attention. Pray for peace, people everywhere. All right, now listen to this.
This interaction between Scott Jennings and Adam Mockler, where Scott Jennings says, get your fucking hands out of my face. The more that I think it is actually very representative of the divide between Democrats or people on the left like Adam Mockler and MAGA stooges like Scott Jennings. Because if you watch the full video, and I would encourage you to do so, Adam is really laying down facts about this failed war in Iran. And Scott Jennings, like he did 20 years ago, was supporting a failed war that started with a country with the first letters of IRA. But this is what happens when you often debate these MAGA supporters. Adam has seen it. Someone like Dean Withers has seen it. When you debate these guys, when it goes wrong for them, it doesn't cause a reflection or evaluation of their stances or what they're talking about. The responses are always an emotional reaction. They lose it. They snap. Because at the core of MAGA and the core of Scott Jennings is a level of insecurity that is not known to most people on the left. Because people like Scott, who support MAGA and support Trump and the hypocrisies and all the horrible things about it, they know deep down they're wrong. And when someone like an Adam calls them out for it, they lose it. I mean, again, kudos to Adam for allowing us to see Scott's true colors, but this is not unique to Scott Jennings. It is a problem with the MAGA movement and the people who represent it altogether. The more that I think about this,
You know, it is absolutely indicative of the entire MAGA movement. Okay, Juju said it would behoove you, okay? But it is absolutely representative of the entire MAGA movement, okay? These MAGA men, they don't have any logical answers for the questions posed to them because everything they're doing, that Trump's administration is doing, is either illegal, illogical, or just plain obtuse. So you can't rationalize things that are clearly irrational. You can't make sense of things that are absolutely nonsensical. Okay? And you can't make something look like a good idea when it's in fact obtuse. So with that being said, all they have left in their arsenal of bullshit is to get angry and become hostile and aggressive. You'll see this time and time again. Okay, you'll see this time and time again with men like Scott Jennings. Okay, he wants to sit there and act pompous and arrogant, smug, and all of that. But at the end of the day, he's just a fickle little man, okay, a coward who is so afraid of ticking off Trump, okay, that he just says all the foolish things that Trump wants him to say.
A CNN poster boy for white privilege and his energy, because that's the real issue, his attitude. Every time he opens his mouth on CNN, it's like he's auditioning for Smuggest Man Alive or for the position of White House press secretary. And Lev Parnas clocked it, the father of our most beloved Aaron Parnas. The posture, the tone, the micro smirk that says he thinks he's smarter than everyone else in the room. He postures. He performs condescension. And it's not just the interruptions. It's the side comments, the little passive-aggressive murmurs under his breath, the eye rolls, the muttered wow or sure while someone else is speaking. It's rude. It's like his parents didn't raise him to have manners. It's the junior high energy where he can't wait his turn, so he leaks disdain. He walks in with that I already won body language, even when he's objectively wrong, especially when he's wrong. There is something uniquely unbearable about a man who can be corrected in real time and still sits there like, yeah, I ate that. Watch how he interrupts mid-sentence. Watch how he turns every topic into a smug lecture. And here's the trick he lives on: redirection. He throws you a loaded question, you answer it, now you're in his frame. Now you're off your point. Now he's driving. So here's the real playbook. For anyone who ever sits across him, don't answer his questions. Answer it with a question. Flip it back on him. Redirect him. Because when Scott Jennings is the one being questioned, you can literally see the irritation creep in. The jaw tightens, the cadence changes, the smug calm starts to crack. He hates being off script. He hates not controlling the lane. Match his condescension. I've seen him get thrown off his game. Anna Navarro, Lee McGowan, and Charles Blow are great foils against Scott Jennings. So when he asks you something meant to derail, you respond with, why are you avoiding the actual issue? Why won't you answer what was just said? Make him explain. Make him stay on topic. Make him uncomfortable. And when he mumbles under his breath, call it out. Even if you have to talk louder. When he interrupts you, interrupt him back. Stay in your lane. Keep your point. Let him chase you. Because his whole brand collapses the moment the room stops orbiting him. The second you refuse to treat him like the main character. He's just another guy in a suit with opinions. And nothing terrifies a man like that more than not being centered. And that's the read. This is the notorious JTB.
Okay, so I want you to pay attention because the thing of it is Trump's entire administration is very skilled at gaslighting and deflecting. And also, there is a piece that was written, and also someone did a video about Scott, an animated video, which I'll go to that momentarily. But you know what they do is basically a deflection trap. Okay, because journalist Molly McPherson wrote a piece about this. Okay, so let's talk about it. Because she said there's 4 things that they specifically do. Okay, the four things, these are the four faces of deflection. And one of the things that she spoke about was the 60 Minutes interview, okay, that Trump did last Sunday night with Norah O'Donnell, okay, when she read aloud from the alleged shooter's manifesto and then asked President Trump for his reaction. So in under 30 seconds, he used four very distinct deflection moves. Okay, the first one is the question reversal. And this is the same thing Scott Jennings does, so it still applies. And this really is what his entire administration does. They're all following the same script. Okay, so when O'Donnell asked about the alleged shooter attending a No Kings protest, Trump didn't even engage the political motivation question at all. He simply made the interview itself the burden. The question becomes the offense. The interviewer becomes the subject. And by the time the audience finishes processing the attack on the journalist, mind you, and that, by extension, is every journalist who has ever asked Trump a question where he felt pressed to answer or just didn't want to answer. Well, by the time all of this occurs, the original question is lost. It's gone. Then the second thing he does is the whataboutism pivot. Okay, your friends on the other side of the plate, the ones that were involved, let's say Epstein and other things, or let's talk about how, when they ask him about his behavior or any of the people in his administration about nefarious things that they're doing, specifically Pete Kegsbreth and Trump, they'll pivot to, oh, well, Biden did this or Obama did that. Okay, they start to question one other leader's behavior, and that gets answered with an accusation. Okay, they make accusations about the other, so then their responsibility becomes relative. Okay, or responsibility in general becomes relative. So if everyone is bad or everyone's doing it, then no one has to answer for anything specific. Okay, that's why they do that. The next thing they do, the third, is they frame the hijacked. Okay, like Trump says, you should be ashamed of yourself for reading that. You're a disgrace. I knew you would read that. Remember, he told her that? That's what he was doing. He was trying to hijack the conversation, because then the conversation is no longer about the manifesto. It's now about whether O'Donnell should have read that at all. Okay, new subject, new stakes, new villain again, representing all journalists. So now he makes her the villain. Now, the last thing he'll try is the compliment shield. Okay, for example, when he fired Pam Bondi, okay, and then when questioned about it, what did he say? Oh, Attorney General Pam Bondi is a wonderful person. She's doing a good job. Okay, then hours later, she's fired. Okay, please make it all make sense. If she was doing such a good job, why was she fired? You see, the reason they do that is the character endorsement, performing loyalty in place of accountability. Okay, so that's what they're doing. And you can't argue with, oh, she's wonderful. Okay, the way you can argue with, well, here's what happened and here's what she's doing, or here's what was wrong with what she did. Rather, they use the compliment shield. And that's the most dangerous because it sounds the most reasonable. Okay, so please pay attention. This is what the devils do. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, I want to go to this animation they did about Jennings.
The Dumb Life of Scott Jennings, the poster boy of GOP fragility. You likely have seen the video where Scott Jennings has a little tantrum on camera crying about how a finger is too close to his face. Jennings is a long-time piece of work with a long history of being kind of a piece of shit, which is, as you'll likely already know, common as fuck with most Republican pundits. In 2007, he was an aide to Karl Rove and pursued politically motivated firings of attorneys who hurt Republican feelings. But Jennings was a fucking moron and did all this over email, even admitting that the people he was firing did nothing wrong but should be fired anyway because he didn't like their politics. Funnily enough, he did this on a private email server instead of the mandated government servers, which was used to cover up thousands of communications that the Presidential Records Act mandates preserving. Jennings was brought before the Senate and even admitted he refused to answer questions because he would likely receive a criminal contempt charge. Later that same year, Jennings gave PowerPoint presentations to government employees, telling them they needed to support Republican candidates and get them elected. A big fucking illegal no-no. Jennings then ran the Kentuckians for Strong Leadership Super PAC, an organization that had 0 donors from Kentucky. and which did some pretty swampy, immoral shit, and hid a lot of his work in a non-profit that was likely incredibly fucking illegal. And then in 2017, he transitioned to being a pundit. He was offered a position in the Trump White House, but turned it down because he considered Trump to be an authoritarian scumbag, but quickly changed his position to go full Trumpy Trumpkins once it was clear that was the way to make money. His Trump flip is one of the craziest bits of mental grifter gymnastics anyone can possibly do. He called January 6th literally an insurrection caused by Donald Trump, and that Trump planned to overthrow the government for weeks ahead of time. And as soon as it became clear that it was better for him financially to support Trump, he flipped the switch, because he is a bad human being. But while he publicly supported Trump, he also privately mocked him, telling colleagues he didn't really like the fatty fatso orange-skinned idiot, but that this was good for his brand. The man is truly a scumbag with little to no spine, which is why he is the perfect example of the current state of MAGA and the GOP. Just an angry old fossil screaming on TV with no morals, no ethics, and no emotional regulation.
Okay, please pay attention. And not that he called him a fossil. Okay, he called him an old fossil. Okay, now, here's the thing. I think it was D. Major who asked the question, why don't these reporters curse him out? Well, they're not going to curse him out, beloved, because they don't want to be acting all ghetto on air. They're trying to maintain a certain level of professionalism, as they should. You see, they take the high road, okay? They don't want to go lower than Trump. They don't want to stoop to his level, and nor would I. Now, mind you, once the cameras were off, I might curse him out. But on the live show, I would not curse him out either, because then that gives him the upper hand, because now he looks like the victim of your anger, of your vitriol, rather than the other way around. And so he doesn't want, or they don't want to turn out looking like this. Let's go to the footage of that old Isaiah Carey video where he, quite frankly, you remember this when Isaiah Carey got real ghetto that time years ago? Let's get into it. I'm going to put an overlay on this just for the sake of it. Now, who can forget this? Because these things don't age well. I'm just saying they can curse them out, but it won't age well.
What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death? The fuck is that? Shit! I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck, I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out of this country, motherfucker.
That is never going to not be funny, okay? I bet Isaiah hates that ever came out. All right, and they brought that up to him like a few years ago, and he had a laugh about it. Honey, that's all you can do is laugh, because that was real ghetto, okay, to say the least. Okay, so that's what you don't want to do, okay? That's all I'm saying. That's what you don't want to do. Honey, okay? Please pay attention. Now, with that being said, now y'all know, even when I roast people on live, I try not to get that ghetto, okay? I try to roast them professionally, no less. Because trust me, I can get just as ghetto as he did, honey, but who wants to? Unless you're absolutely ghetto in the first place, is all I'm saying. Now, that being said, and that should be a note to everyone, that all Black people, okay, have the ability to get ghetto when they want. Okay, please pay attention. Cheryl said stay woke. Okay, I know that's right. Now, before we roll out of here, because my commentary is just about done, okay, but Sosa said, Queen, it was ghetto, but oh so funny and true. Exactly. Exactly. Lillian X said a professional roast queen. Exactly. Okay, do you all remember that time somebody said queen? That was the most professional roast that I ever saw. Yes, because I, just try to keep it professional as much as possible. Even with Jag the Diva. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this clip from iHip News. I absolutely love these ladies. They are so hilarious and on point. But they were poking fun at Erica Kirk, when she came out dressed like a whole assassin or someone who was auditioning for the remix or the remake of Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation video. Okay, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Then we're out of here, and I will be back later at around 7 or 7:30.
House Correspondents' Dinner, Erica Kirk put out the following tweet. Pop it up, Kylie. Saturday was yet another traumatic example of the evil in our country and the continued rise in political violence. I'm taking some time to spend with my family. I will be joining the Charlie Kirk Show Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time to briefly address what took place. Enough is enough. Let's play a clip from the podcast.
Seems to me that nothing will ever be enough for the evil in this world. Our country has become unrecognizable. These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They've continuously tried to assassinate the president, and anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest.
When we're speaking about assassins, it's important to cosplay as an assassin. And I want to make sure, Erica Kirk, that you remember that your late husband, who should not have died because we oppose gun violence, we support cosplay, but we oppose gun violence, Mrs. Kirk. Let's remember some of the things that the late Charlie Kirk said. Play the clip.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe.
I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Well, that's the
you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
You truly, in your heart of hearts, truly believe that this is a human being. This,
without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
This is a dolphin fetus.
All right. So as you can see, racism is ubiquitous at Turning Point USA. You can dress like an assassin and you can try to gaslight in a very dramatic way that your organization isn't racist, but videos live forever. Videographic evidence of mental breakdowns live forever. And Erica Kirk went on to talk about Melania Trump's, another victim, her attacks. Play the clip.
If you can just pause and just take a minute and ask yourself, how would you feel if even just one person made cruel jokes about the attempted murder of your loved one? That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He said that she had the glow of an expected widow. The glow of an expected widow. Just 48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality. And this culture we're living in absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint.
How would you feel? How would you feel if the president of the United States said he wanted to wipe out an entire population? How would you feel if your husband said because he's famous, he can grab him by the pussy? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do to the black pilot? How would you feel if your husband, president of the United States, was an adjudicated rapist? How would you feel about that? How would you feel? Moving along here, Erica Kirk has had it with whiteface. Play the clip.
to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
And I get on camera and I show everybody how batshit crazy I am. And the evidence goes on and on and on and on. And I will not stop, because just Monday, I said I was taking time off to be with my family. And now it's Thursday, and I am hosting a podcast clip, because in Turning Point, you can both take time off from work and work at the exact same time. And this hypocrisy can go on and on and on and on. And let's just review the whiteface that Drewski did. Play the clip. Sometimes art imitates life. Erica also found a way to slip in immigration into her speech. Let's hear the grievance on this.
I have big problems with illegal immigration in this country. I have to tell you, we have an even bigger problem when it comes to the systemic indoctrination and radicalization of our own citizens.
So this is the woman whose organization goes to universities and wants to radically indoctrinate people to be racist. The body of evidence surrounding this is massive. This is a woman and an organization that is overtly racist, that promotes gun violence. The crazy thing about Erica's husband's organization, Turning Point, is they promote gun violence.
Okay. They promote gun violence, and then Charlie, unfortunately for him, passed away from gun violence. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to go to that Jag the Diva clip, because Desmond and somebody else asked me for it some time ago, and I promised to show it, and I completely forgot. So since we brought up Jag the Diva, let's go to the clip when I gave her a professional roasting. Goes live. Okay, so before I get started, I have a little something to say. Okay, hold on. Let me download this real quick. Okay, there we go. All right. So, hello, D. Griffin, Ladybug 77, Softly Love, Kenyetta, That Crazy Beach Aries, Nessie X, Kathy B, Brand Slayer TV, Terry Hinton, Irvin Sims. Okay. James is in the house. L Skin, Emperor Rex, Silent D. All right. The Jet Black She Star. Okay. Tony Curtis. All right. Universal Language. Ma'at Egypt, Joe Gardner, Bronze Flat Power God, Pearly. Okay. Rami is in the house. I hope I said that right. I don't have on my glasses. Tasha. Okay. Danielle. Wavy though. Gwendolyn is in the house. Mr. Hotel started out with a cash app. With a super chat. Says show in chat. #1 show in chat on YouTube. It would behoove you to know that. Mr. Hotel, thank you kindly, beloved Ed. Thank you, Mr. Hotel. Okay, Alex in the house. Donna in the house. Christy Love. Okay, so let me say this. Hey, Pearly. And let me say this before I get started. Thank you, Mr. Hotel. That's very kind of you. Now, for those of you who are my loyal royals, Kathy B, I see you, beloved. Okay, too ready for this today, says Alex. Okay, listen, for those of you who are my faithful, loyal royals, many of you are my day one. Some of you are newcomers, but you're still loyal royals. And I love you all. And I thank you for all that you do. I want to thank you for all of the cash apps that you send. I want to thank you for the gifts that you send, send me and all of that. I don't thank you enough. Okay, my apologies for that. But let me say this. Hey, Miss Peaches. Mr. Rainbow in the house. But let me say this. I really appreciate you all because some people are not loyal. You see, some people are fakes and frauds. And I don't know why people have to pretend. There's nothing worse than a fake person. Okay? There's nothing worse than a fake person. And you all may recall that for a few weeks now, I've been talking about fake people pretending to be royals, pretending they love the queen when they really don't even like me. And I have to ask myself many a times, hey, Papa Soul Searcher, I've asked myself many a times, why people that don't like someone would follow you, would be in your chat, would just, I don't get it. Because if I don't like someone, I don't watch them. That's what I don't. I don't care what they have to say. I don't want to see them. Don't want to hear them. And I definitely wouldn't be in their chat. And I really feel like someone, hey, D. Griffin, has a problem with me. Deronda, I see you, beloved. And so I'm going to drop the link because I really want to know what the problem is this person has with me and why they always feel the need to say little slick stuff. Hey, Terry Hinton, Malik, or Malak. Why they always feel the need to say little slick stuff in my chat. Now, they may have thought that I didn't notice it, or maybe, that I just wasn't going to say anything, but I let it ride for a while, but I knew. You see, I knew, being the Pisces that I am, and being petty as I am, and being as outspoken as I am, and I'm being the person, like I always tell you all, I want all the smoke, like hookah. And I mean that from the pit, from the depths, from the bowels of my soul. So if you have a problem with me, why don't you just say it? Let it be known. That's all I'm saying. Now I'm about to drop this link. And I want the person that I'm talking to, and they're going to know who I'm talking about in a minute, because I'm going to say some of the things that they've said in my chat, past and present. Okay, there's the link right there, and I please beg of you to click it. Please, I beg of you to click it, because, I get sick and tired of people trying to say little slick stuff in chats. Like you got Twitter fingers, you gangster on the internet, but say it to my face. You can say it to my face. You've been in the same spaces and places I've been in unbeknownst to me. But when you saw me, why didn't you say it then if you got a problem with the queen? Now, let me just say this. This person whom I'm talking about has been in my chat in the past, and they said little slick stuff. I let them get away with it then too. I let them say numerous little things. Then finally one day I said, you know what? I'm just going to block them because clearly they toxic. Now I'm talking about Jag the Diva. Jag the Diva. Please click that link, because I really want to know what your problem is with me. Does my spirit bother your demons, beloved? Because I've never done anything to you, never said anything about you, never given you any smoke. So I want to know what your angst is. If you got this Anna on your chest, because that's what it seems like. Why do you have Anna on your chest for the queen? And I want you to tell me what the problem is. And I please want you to say it with your chest. You talking about what? Jag, let me just put it like this. And I'm just going to break it all the way down. Because you can fake and you can front and you can play dumb all you want. But I know when somebody got a problem with me. So let's get into it. First and foremost, it was about 3 years ago. In 2020, I believe it was. Jag, you were in my chat and you told one of my moderators at the time named Sylvia, you told Sylvia that she was the queen's lap dog. She wasn't a lap dog for me or anyone else. She was doing her job as a moderator. But you said she was the queen's lap dog. Now, I didn't see it when you put that comment, but when I had a meeting with my moderators, they told me that you said it. And they wanted me to block you then, but I said, no, I'm not going to do it. That's okay. Then you came back, and then one day I got into an argument with a neighbor who was outside in front of my door making all this racket, and I forgot to turn off my microphone. So you all heard me, those who were watching me that day, heard me go off on her. You said you told her that because she attacked you. Okay, that's what you told Sylvia. Why did you have to put me in it? If Sylvia attacked you, why did you have to say she's the queen's lapdog? You didn't have to put the queen in it. See, it's not making sense. But let me continue. So as I was saying, I was at the door arguing. I stepped outside of my door to talk to the neighbor who was standing in front of my door making all this noise, okay, as she's leaving. And I got into an argument with her because she was talking slick. And I told her I would F her up, which I meant every word, because I can't get on. Y'all know that. But anyway, when I came back to my live and I realized the microphone was on, then Jag, you heard what I said to the neighbor, and you put in the chat, oh, do you live in the projects? Trying to be cute. No, I don't live in the projects. I live in an upscale, very nice neighborhood, not the projects. But, and I told you that. Then I let that slide. But then one day I was saying something about Wig, because Wig had been saying subliminals about me. See, I don't start nothing with nobody first. If you hear me saying something about somebody, it's because they said something first. And some people are scared to say my name, so they will throw little subliminals. But I know when they're talking about me, and y'all do too. So Wig had said something about the queen. So I'm on here on my live talking trash about her. And then Jag says, and then also I said something about Kabami Harris, and I called her a plantation mammy. And then Jag, you said, and I quote, oh, it's funny, people don't like Vicky, but they over here stealing her catchphrases because I said plantation mammy. And I told you then, first of all, she don't have any catchphrases. Plantation mammy, I heard that from Tariq Nasheed. That's for number one. He started saying that. And also, I told you that nobody's jealous of her. She's the one always talking about me. And then I also said, that she didn't even coin the phrase talk black to me because she got that from Dr. Khalid Muhammad. So she has no catchphrases. Now, it was on that day. That was your third strike, and I blocked you from my channel. But then fast forward, I believe it was 2022, maybe 2021. I think it was 2022. I was on my backup channel because I was blocked on this one for a week. And then I see you in my chat. This was last July, as a matter of fact, when I was exposing Wig. And I said to you, when I saw you in my chat, I said, oh, Jag the Diva, you're back on the Queen's channel now while I'm exposing Wig. And you said, oh, I never liked her anyway. I always liked Michi. But that's a lie. You did like Wig, and that's why you liked her so much so you tried to go in and get slick with me in my own chat. But I said, okay, whatever you say, and I let that ride. And then being the nice person that I am, I unblocked you on the main channel because I forgive and forget. But since you've been on the main channel, you've said a myriad of little slick things about the Queen. You've said a myriad. I already dropped the link. Here's the link right here, Jag. You said drop the link. I already dropped it. There it is right there. You've said a myriad of little slick things. And since you've been on this channel. For example, let's talk about what you did recently. Okay, recently, me and Mr. Hotel have been saying during the midst of my broadcast, we've been saying stuff like, you heard it here first. Because most of the things I talk about, let's keep it real. You all do hear it here first. I break news, okay? You all do hear it here first. But whenever I started saying that, you said, oh, I heard that first from Michi about growing our own food. I didn't say that I told you all to grow your own food first. I never said anything about telling you all to grow your own food. Okay, I said I was the first one started giving you all lifelines and telling you to stock up on water and non-perishable food items because I started telling people that November, matter of fact, Thanksgiving Day of 2020, when I was the first one who told you all about the incoming famine and how they were manufacturing and all the other stuff about the lights out, the power grid and all of that stuff. I said all of that first is what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about telling you all to grow food. And so with that all being said, okay, hold on. With that all being said, you said, oh, well, I basically heard that from Michi first. Okay, so then ever since then, you all of a sudden keep on saying what you heard first from somewhere else. My whole thing is,
can you see me?
Oh, yeah, I can see you. Hold on.
Okay.
At the end of the day, don't
first of all, I have never said anything about you. No, you asked me to drop the link. You asked me to click the link, and that's what I did.
Don't get on here trying to talk over me. When I finish, then you can talk. And I'm almost done.
No.
So like I said, excuse me. Okay, go.
You asked me to click the link, and that's what I did.
Go ahead and say what you have to say, Jay.
Okay, first of all, going back, your moderator or whoever she was, Sylvia, she attacked me, and that's the reason why I said what I said to her. And she was, in my opinion, she was acting like your lapdog, so that's what I said, because she was being disrespectful toward me. Her and other people that were in your chat.
If she or other people are being disrespectful, what does that have to do with me? I wouldn't tell her to be disrespectful.
Because I asked you to address it, and you didn't.
Well, obviously, I didn't see your comment.
Oh, well, you see all these other comments that you're talking about. And as far as Biggie at one time.
Hold on, stop right there. These other comments that I'm talking about, I just told you that moderators came back and told me you said these things.
Okay, well, that's what the moderators said.
If I had seen them, well, they're not lying. And not only moderators, other subscribers have told me stuff that you said recently, like the whole thing with, oh, I heard that first on Michi. Oh, this, that, and the third. Other people told me you said.
I did. It's no shade to you, though. I'm just saying. That's what I heard, and that's what I heard from Michi. It wasn't that I was being slick.
Here's the thing, though. You were being slick. You were.
No, I was not.
Just like you said.
But I felt discord from you anyway. I've always felt like you didn't like me, and
she sounds real stupid. I'm not even gonna let her ass finish, because here's the thing. She's talking about she felt discord from me. This is how y'all know she's lying. If she felt discord from me, why is she in my chat every day? Why, when I told y'all to go listen to Taharka Bay, she went over there to listen to him too? Of course, he blocked her for talking slick. But my whole thing is, if she felt discord from me, why would she go over there? Why would she be taking suggestions from me? Why is she in my chat right now? You felt discord, like I don't like you. Sit down somewhere. She gonna try to flip the script. If I didn't like you, fool, I wouldn't have ever unblocked you from this channel. If I didn't like you, clown, I would have blocked you on the backup channel. What are you talking about? You're the one with the Anna on your chest. You said, according to people that came back and told me, my moderator specifically, you said that you thought you saw me at Michi's event. If you saw me, first of all, you didn't think you saw me. You knew you saw me. Anybody that sees the queen knows you see me. Anybody that sees the queen, you know you see me. I got long locks down to my butt. Okay, I usually wear a bindi on my forehead. It's no such thing as you thought you saw me. You always know when you see me. So she said she thought she saw me at Michi's event. Well, if she saw me and she had Anna on her chest, or she felt like I didn't like her, why didn't she come and say anything? It's obviously that you and Mr. Hotel work together. Work together? What are you talking about? Child, let me just go ahead and block your silly self. She said now she want to bring Mr. Hotel into it. See, that's the thing. She doesn't like Mr. Hotel because she knows Mr. Hotel is a friend of mine. That's what that is, because she got smart with Mr. Hotel in the chat. And let me just say this too. Another thing is, one day I was saying something to you all, and Mr. Hotel made a comment, and then Jag said, "Oh, I have my own mind. I'm a leader, not a follower. Think for yourselves, people." What was that all about? I wasn't telling anybody. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't telling anybody to not think for themselves, but she said that because she was trying to be smart, just like she always is. Okay, I'm not stupid. I know when someone's throwing jabs at me at the end of the day. And if I didn't like her, please miss me with it. She would have never been in my chat because I could have blocked her a long time ago. Okay, please miss me with it. Okay. Okay, I went in on her no less, and I said, I see why she's mad, because look at her. But the bottom line is she brought that on herself. And here's my thing. If she saw me at Michi's event, which she absolutely did, but I didn't see her, she could have pulled up then and talked her slick talk, just like Tisa Tales, talking all that trash over on her channel. But when we got to New York, what did I do? I confronted her, because that's what I'm going to do. You want to talk slick on the internet, but what about when you see me in person? Okay, have that same energy. And then when I pulled up to her at the court at Diddy's trial, I'm like, what's all that stuff you were saying about I look like a drowning rat and a hamster? She's like, oh, do I know you? Are you a YouTuber? She didn't act like she didn't even know who the hell I was. That's what they do. Okay, cowards and frauds, talking slick, and then when the queen confronts them, they got nothing to say. And Jag completely tried to flip the script. But since Vince I Am brought up the time I went in on Black Mama, let's go to that clip as well. just tell you all, the reason Black Mama was angry with the Queen is because she told my friend Straight No Chaser with the Queen, Tina Berry, that she wanted my phone number. And because I didn't want to give her my phone number because I don't know you like that. Okay, so she got mad and talked trash about me, okay, to Straight No Chase with the Queen. And my friend came back and told me. So this is what I put up for her.
Bitch, I don't play. I'm petty and I'm known to throw shade. Hating ho, please just go. Don't get cute, just walk away. Girl, bye, bitch, listen, fuck you, bitch, listen, fuck you, bitch,
She needs to sit down somewhere, honey. Honey, I don't know why they keep coming for the Queen. I don't know why they even be trying me. Okay, they know I'm about that life. Okay, please. And then Cheryl said, "Oh, Queen can sing. I knew it, girl. That wasn't me singing. I was lip syncing. I was lip syncing, beloved. Clearly, I mean, I can sing a little bit, but not that good, honey. Okay." Y'all know Pisces are petty as hell. Okay, absolutely. Feminine energy. Okay, all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. Okay, because you try to go in and be disrespectful, I'm going to let you have it. Okay, now I gave Jag time after time after time, but she kept coming. Okay, she just kept coming. Ashkan said, "LOL, you could have gotten away with it." I know, beloved. I know, because I did a good job lip syncing, right? I was actually singing with the song. That's why the lip sync was so on point. Please pay attention. And so anyway, with that all being said, I'm out of here. Okay, so I'll be back later, probably like I said, around 7 or 7:30. Okay, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. I love making y'all laugh. All right, and so until later, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Okay? Sunset says, "I got 5 on it. The Queen of Receipts can be the Queen of Petty too, boo. So tiptoe." Okay, not tiptoe. Exactly. Okay, they don't call me Petty LaBelle for nothing. Okay, thank you for your words, beloved, your kind words, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
With that flavor all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the Queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now.
That's
See
right.
a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy.
Real slick.
I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got